Alright, everybody, and welcome to V Rising. That's right, I'm picking up another game to play through, and I have already gone through the entire game on my stream, but now I'm wanting to do some uploads with it, and I've really enjoyed this game. It has been really popular. The From the camera view to the PvP, it's been a lot of fun, but I kind of want to play through single player, give the solo player a perspective on what they can expect from this game. If you haven't already picked it up, I highly recommend it. If you've played through it before on the PvP and you're just looking to do some casual, this is the video for you. So let's go ahead and get started.
This was ours. We ruled this land. We owned the night. But man rose up against us. We were overthrown. For centuries, hidden away in darkness, tortured by thirst, choking down dust, starving, until now, our hunt begins again.
So whenever you host your own game, you have plenty of options here. You can do PvE, you can do PvP, you can select your different rule sets, you can create your own, change how many people are in your clan, you can do the number of players that you want to play with, you can set it for LAN, you can set it for solo play only, which is what we're doing here. And then the advanced options, I mean, there are a ton of options. Now, for me, because I'm going to be playing on my own, I think what I'll do is up the crafting speed of some of these things, and then that way we can just go through and have the fun challenge of beating the bosses solo, and maybe do an interesting base build after that. Alright, as you can see, I have the character I want already set up here, but there are plenty of different skin tone options that you can pick, a couple different face styles that you can pick from. It's not bad, the amount of customization that you can do. I was really expecting, I don't know, like a lot worse from a, indie team. The hair flows really nice, and it doesn't clip too badly through equipment. It actually flows really well all throughout the game. There are some hair helmets and stuff like that will cover the hair. I usually don't go for those, just because I took the time to make the character the way they wanted. Why would I want to cover it up? But, that said, let's get started. There you go. Immediately upon exiting the character screen, you end up in a tomb here, and surrounded by the empty coffins of your buddies. Now for me, I'm going to be running around in here and knocking over all these things, because you're going to want the stone, you're going to want the wood, you're going to want all those delicious bones. Pain in the neck to get early on, but you can get them here basically for free. Alright, and I'm just like most survival games, your first quests are pretty simple. We gathered up some bones, and now they want us to make a sword with it. Very, very simple stuff. You have your crafting screen here. You can sort your inventory very easily. Clicking the button once will automatically craft it. Your hotbar is right up here at the top. But you got your basic attacks here. As you get higher tier weapons, you'll unlock these other two techniques. You get a starting dash for dodging. Now, when you're in that red state, if you were to hit an enemy, you would gain health. You have your little charge up attack there. If that beam were to hit an enemy, you would also get health. And then, if an enemy attacks you during that, you will go ahead and counter that with a decent attack that will heal you as well. So, nice little bit of survivability out the gate, which is nice. But once you're done looting around in there, they immediately put you out into the cemetery, where you're going to have to kill some skeletons, simple things like that. They'll have you do quests. Very, very simple. Let's see if we can't get this skeleton to do the counter. Boom! Got him. Alright, there we go. Claim another one. Now we make ourselves a bone ring and hit enemies with our ability down here. Easy peasy. Bam, another one done. So the way that levels work in this game, it's based off of your gear. Up here you can see a gear score level of 3. Down here you have another 3. If I were to put my sword away, it would hurt my gear score level. I am now a 3. With the sword out, I'm a 6. So as we make these gears, we'll be able to, progress. Now, we're going to need animal hide for some of these, and we won't be able to accomplish that here, so let's move outside. And as you go through this cemetery, make sure that you're breaking all of these coffins as you see them, because they will give you rats, which are really useful. You can go ahead and eat those to gain a little bit of blood. You can see that fill up down here. And blood is basically your food in this game. Makes sense, vampires. Having that remain full is a good thing. However, later on you'll be able to kill things like wolves and get different kinds of blood like creatures, and there's a scholar perk and a warrior and a rogue and a brute, and each of those will give you different perks. We'll go over those as we find them. But eating rats will overwrite that blood level. You'll get a percentage down here that will fall back to 0 by eating a rat. So you're going to have to time out what you use and when you use. You gotta keep them for an emergency, but the rats are also used to make potions and things like that later on. Alright, and once you finish in the tutorial area, there gets to be 2 places that you can choose from here. Now, for me, I've always built 2 bases. The further north you are, the better quality blood you're going to find. Up here in this second region, a little too difficult for us. You don't want to be in the snow, and everything over here is going to one-shot you. So, putting a temporary base, I think we're going to put one up here. That way we have access to the northern regions. Might even put it over here in this corner. Give us a little bit more room to build. And then we'll work our way from there and start killing bosses. So, if we're going to start on this side, I guess we'll choose this location to spawn. Bamf. There we are. This game is really good because the environment actually plays a big role in your ability to survive. Now right here you can see all the blue numbers, that's our nighttime. And all these orange numbers are daytime. The sun in this game will kill you, and it hurts bad and quickly. Luckily, however, most cemeteries have a fog over them, and you can usually even loot these during the daytime. So we could even be gathering up more bones and stuff like that. But you're probably going to want to keep moving, as you can dodge the sun pretty easily. The shadows in this game are really good. Right here, I'm in the sun. Now I'm not. Now I am. Now I'm not. Like, they did a great job with the hitboxes on the sun effect. Really, really like it. Oh, here's our first creature. If you get an animal or an enemy low, you can opt to drink their blood. Bam! They'll drop all their resources, and now we have a nice little boost. We have between 3 and 15% movement speed. We have between 10 and 25 increased sun resistance rating, which is really nice. If you get a 100%, you get all of these different bonuses on here. And these bonuses change between blood types. This here is a teleporter. Certain items, such as most of this, can't be teleported. So you'll have to keep that in mind. You may have to drop resources before you can teleport around. You do get a personal one that you can make at your base. Now, as you can see, this one's a 3%, so we don't want to overwrite our 35. We're just going to kill that one. After killing a few animals, you should have the ability to make your last couple pieces of gear. There you go. Level 9. Level 10. Claim our reward. Next, we make a bone axe and cut down some trees. Easy peasy. Now, each of the weapons in the game have a different fighting style to them. Axes in this game are really cool because they're not just used to cut down resources. You can actually use them to fight with. And some of the abilities are really cool with these weapons. We've gone ahead and already unlocked the next weapon. The hammer is one of my favorites to fight with, especially against certain bosses. It has a nice little leap ability that you'll unlock as you progress. Right now we just have the basic swing, which feels a little bit slow. You'll get more proficient with it as you get better weapons, but let's go ahead and continue completing these quests. Alright, so the first thing we're going to need to do here is make a heart and all that fun stuff. Super easy. Bam. There we go. We have one heart, and then we can add spots around that, which will allow us to have area to build. And there we go. Easy enough. You can even move this anytime you want to wherever you want, and that will give us a nice big area to build in. And there you go. There's the heart. Now all we need to do is put some blood in here to keep it from our base from decaying. And we've leveled up again. We need palisades, we need coffins, we need stash. All these things are going to be super easy to get. Bam. One stash. We got one palisade. And then we want a coffin. So we're going to need a little bit more lumber. We're going to need more blood. Let's get that stuff and complete this step. Another great thing about this game is if you're in the building menu, you can just click an object and put it wherever you want. You don't have to deconstruct it and reconstruct it, take everything out to move it. None of that. You just tell it where to go and it goes on and gets. Super nice. The next thing we're going to build here, however, even though it's not on the list, is one of these. When it becomes daytime, you don't want to be outside. However, if you have one of these here, mist braziers, they are going to make a nice bit of cloud cover. You can probably see a little bit of it extending over here, and that way you can sit in the comfort of your base without having to worry about burning to death. And there we go. Go ahead and claim that real quick. We have to craft a sawmill, simple workbench, increase our gear score. The benches themselves will actually give us the ability to make these objects. Now, we just need to make planks for that one, but we need a sawmill to make the planks. So let's make those next. Alright, and one sawmill. Bam. We take our extra bit of wood, put it in here. It'll go ahead and make the planks. The sawdust is going to be important later, much later on, but try not to just throw that on the ground. You're going to want a lot of it. Alright, we got the planks that we need. We can go ahead and make that there a bench. And as you can see, we have a ton of gear that we can make. Now, upgrading your weapons and things like that, especially your gathering tools, is going to be important. With just the basic bone mace, you cannot gather copper. And you're going to need that copper in order to make your next tier weapons. So that's something we're going to work on right now. Going to get all these weapons upgraded and then go ahead and continue with our journey. Before that, however, we now have a full set of the next tier gear. Looking nice. Bam. Claim. Ooh, blood altar, you say? Boss fights, you say? Well, I'll be. Another thing you're going to want to do as you pick them up is seeds. Plant those. Because, yeah. Doesn't cost you anything except for the seed that you find. And you'll get nice bit of flowers that you can then use later on in your alchemy room to make some really valuable potions. Extremely difficult to beat the game without them. You can. You absolutely can. However, if you want to skip some of the headache, make potions. Alright, we got the blood we're going to need. Here is one blood altar. The blood altar allows us to find the location of bosses. And that is what we need next. As you can see, your character starts sniffing the air, and you can see the direction of the boss. So we're headed this way. Let's do it. So one thing to note about these stones, as you break them and they begin to respawn, they may not respawn as stone. Example, this copper here used to be stone. If I break this, there's a chance it could come back as sulfur. There's a chance that it could come back as a gemstone. It could come back as stone. Any of the random this type of element. It's very interesting how they have it set up. I guess it's so that way people can't block off key areas. But if we just keep breaking these down, eventually they'll come back as something different. Now, that is region-based. Copper would be here, iron, there'd be a chance for that up here, as well as, I don't know, quartz, and then ghost crystal up here, and even silver over there. So keep that in mind as you're breaking these things. You're not guaranteed to get them back. Alright, we have the Alpha Wolf in sight. We did manage to upgrade all of our armor, our ring, and our weapons, so we are ready for a fight. Now, this Alpha Wolf isn't gonna do much. It's pretty simplistic. First bosses usually are just sort of introducing you to the game. You can use your feeding ability on the little wolves to dodge attacks. For the Alpha Wolf, if you just circle him, he's pretty easy to dodge. Take advantage of your abilities that heal you. Dodge, cut, health, bolt, health. Wait for a bite, health. It's super simple. And then you feed. You have all the time in the world to feed. I've even died to a boss and killed the boss at the same exact moment that I killed him, and had plenty of time to walk back to that boss and still be able to feed. Every time you kill a boss, however, they explode and destroy all the resources around them. You could kite these enemies into areas that have resources that you can't yet collect. Like if I were to lure this thing over into a big pile of silver, it would explode, destroy all that. Now, they do have a tether range, so realistically the wolf wouldn't be the one that you could tether over there. But we did get a bunch of stone and some gems and some hide, and we can claim our reward. Next, we do a research desk. Those are fun. But you'll notice before we leave that we have a little journal over here. And we have some new abilities. If we go over to Vampire Powers after killing the wolf, we can now turn into a wolf, which increases our movement speed and all that fun stuff. Bam. We can move faster. We'll still take damage from the sun, as we are still vampires, regardless of whether or not we look like a wolf. But the wolf allows us to move around. You can't attack as the wolf, unfortunately. If you try to attack, it will kick you out of it. But, yeah, get around a little bit faster. The other neat thing about the wolf form is other wolves kind of ignore you, which is nice, because you can hover over each of them, find out what their blood type is, and if it's got a decent percentage, and whether or not you want to eat them. These ones are kind of weak. We'll see if we can't find a higher tier one further up, but we got to make our way back to base first. Alright, and after killing each boss, you can go ahead and start tracking the next. This one's going to give us the ability to craft capes, which are just awesome. They give you extra abilities. They don't give you any gear score, but the sun resistance, the extra health, might as well be a huge bump. We'll also be able to make empty containers, which you won't really need until much later on. The leather is really important, and the tannery is going to come in handy. We'll go ahead and track this boss next. Alright everybody, and that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you so much for stopping out. I greatly appreciate you. Hopefully, I'll see you again really soon for some more V Rising. But until then, make sure that you check out the Twitter and the Twitch, as we're doing fun things out there all the time. This content's going to be available over here on YouTube and on Rumble. And if you checked it out on Rumble, you've probably seen it first. But with that said, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, stay healthy out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye everybody.